Welcome back to the College Football Connection, brought to you by SBC Radio. I'm Ian Harper here with Dylan Flame and Jason Young. Topic we're going to be talking about today is some sleeper college football teams. Dylan, what's your take?
Well, my sleeper team that's really flying under the radar is South Carolina. Some people don't even have them in the top 25, which is crazy considering they finished top 20 last season and only got better. Spencer Rattler struggled early last season, but starting at that Tennessee game, he beat Tennessee, demolished them through 7 touchdowns, beat Clemson, and then had a really good game against Notre Dame. They've also got their wide receiver one, Antoine Wells, who's a sleeper Biletnikoff candidate who really broke out as well as Spencer Rattler at the end of the last season. So that offense is going to be really good next year.
Jason, how about you?
I think it's clearly Texas A&M with a new QB. They had a lot of young players last year that will develop from last year. They had the best recruiting class of all time last year, like 10 5-stars. They have Evan Stewart, who could be a future draft prospect in the next 2 years. And I think overall they're just going to improve their team from last year.
So you mentioned that they had the number one recruiting class really ever last year. They did lose a few guys, including top corner Denver Harris, who left and went to LSU. How do you think those losses are going to impact the team as a whole?
I think it will impact them a little bit, but it'll make them better because the people get other opportunities to play because they might not have gotten opportunities since they were there. So since they left, they get more opportunities.
Mm-hmm. And going over to this side, speaking of losses, South Carolina did lose star edge rusher Guy Boy Edmond, who transferred to Florida State. Do you think that because they don't have as good of a defense and they're losing a top player like that, is that going to hinder them, or do you think their offense can really overpower them in what's really an offense-first college football?
Well, they did lose some guys to the transfer portal, as you said, but they have Shane Beamer. He's a new age head coach in a way. He really understands NIL in the transfer portal, so I think they'll be fine. They've got a few guys coming in, and their offense, as you said, offense is key in college football. They're loaded offensively, so I really think they'll be fine next year.
And so we're talking with two really high-profile teams. I'm going to take it a little bit of a different direction. My sleeper team for 2023-2024 is Toledo. I know that's a bit different than South Carolina and Texas A&M, but I really like what they're doing out there in the MAC. They have a really, really good offensive trio of quarterback Taquan Finn, running back Jaquez Stewart, and they have two really good receivers in Thomas Zeros and Jawan Newton. I think that the MAC isn't as strong as it has been in recent years, and I think they can really push for an undefeated season. Now, I'm not saying they're going to be making any push for a top 4 to try and get in the college football playoff. I just think that not enough people are going to be talking about how good of a team they can be because they are a smaller school.
Yeah, Toledo does have Daquan Finn, who is a stud, but their defense, not that great. Last year in the MACtion, they gave up almost 40 points a game on those Tuesday nights. And also, they have Illinois week 1, which might be a loss in the first week, so it's really going to be tough for them to rebound and get ranked.
See, really, my thing with Illinois is they did lose a lot of players that are really good. If you look at their defense, the only name that really stands out is Josiah Newton, who is a fantastic player, but there's not much around that. And losing quarterback Tommy DeVito, who he was a game manager, but that was exactly what they needed. And they have a big question mark on the entire defense and at quarterback. And I think Toledo has a lot more stable of a team than they do, and I'm curious to see how it's going to pan out. But looking at the rest of their schedule, I really think they can make a really good run and end up getting into the top 25 by the end of the year.
Yeah, I will say in the trenches though, Josiah Newton's going to dominate that Toledo O-line and going to get to Daquan Finn a lot. So that might be a reason why Illinois might stop them offensively, but I don't know. Illinois really lost a lot. They might not be able to put up points without Chase Brown and Tommy DeVito.
Now, switching it back over to Texas A&M, I know you mentioned Evan Stewart. I know you're a big Evan Stewart fan. Any stat predictions or kind of predictions of what he can be for this team this year?
If he stays healthy, I think he'd get 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns, and if the quarterback stays healthy. So I expect a big year from him. Might be the best receiver in the SEC.
Could we see a Biletnikoff push?
Yeah, he could definitely do it if he stays healthy.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think about their quarterback situation? I know it's been iffy for a few years, and no matter how good the receiver is, you're going to need someone to get on the ball. So how do you think that, kind of, once again, another big question mark there for the Texas A&M offense, how is that going to impact the success of Evan Stewart and that really good receiving core?
Well, the quarterback was a 5-star, so he has the talent. So if he puts it all together, I wouldn't be concerned about that. So he has the talent, so I wouldn't be concerned about that.
And once again, going back to South Carolina, I know you said you like Spencer Rattler a lot. How much of a breakout season does he have? Because I know he was highly touted at Oklahoma, kind of transferred, didn't have a great start to last season with South Carolina. How good of a quarterback do you think he can be, and how much can he propel this team to a potential NY6 bowl game?
Well, the potential is absolutely unlimited. I mean, we know the talent Spencer Rattler has. He's shown it before. Showed it in that 2021 season with Oklahoma, and then he fell off a little bit, got replaced by Caleb Williams. But either way, I mean, Spencer Rattler, he has one of the highest potentials ever. I mean, he was literally the projected #1 pick 2 seasons ago with Oklahoma before getting replaced by Caleb Williams. So even if he doesn't show out, he has the chance to just blow out any type of the season. He really has max potential.
I'm gonna stop you right there real quick. We have a caller coming in. So what's your question?
Hi, I'm Brody Ganella. My question here is, who do you guys think is going to come out on top in the Big Ten?
In the Big Ten, that's a great question. I'm
mean-
gonna give you the floor first.
It's kind of a boring answer, but I really think Michigan's going to win. I mean, they're bringing back Blake Corum, bringing back McCarthy. They're bringing back most players. So, I mean, they're set to do it. They've done it 2 years in a row. I think they're just perfectly set to do it again. And they have Jim Harbaugh, who's an amazing head coach.
And I mean, that running back duo of Donovan Edwards and Blake Corum, I mean, Ohio State couldn't stop it. Really, no one could stop it
No one
last
could
year.
stop
They
it.
did kind of get beat by TCU, but I mean, it's such a high-scoring game.
That was kind of on the defense.
That was on the defense. And, I mean, obviously Michigan is kind of the obvious answer here, but do you have any hot takes? Maybe someone else is going to take it from them? What do you think is going to happen?
I think it could be Penn State with their last year. They have top 2 running backs. They have a good running back duo. It could be better than Michigan's when they're going to be a sophomore this year. A talented quarterback, 6'3", 230. So he'd be running him a lot. And this is probably the best quarterback they've ever had. So I expect high things from them this year, and I think they can win the Big Ten.
So a lot of star quarterbacks and a lot of quarterback questions in college football world. See you next time. This was the College Football Connection with Ian Harper, Jason Young, and Dylan Flame.